Hello and welcome YouTubers and Doctor Who fanatics to another installment of the Showcase series, and for this number it is number 45 for May 2016, and from what I'm going to be showcasing, this one will probably stand out to me and maybe other people hopefully as one of the best from the Showcase series and like no other collection video. In this video I'll be showcasing a few Big Finish items, but a lot. And I mean a lot of Doctor Who books. 30 Doctor Who books I'll be showcasing in this video, most of them being very rare. Of course it wouldn't be a showcase video if I wasn't showcasing stuff which is rare, wouldn't it? I think I'm allowed to buy a gun now so I can protect my Big Finishes, my Cyberman 2, Big Finish Short Trips, my Virgin New Adventures and Times Champion. Or especially Lumbar because he's blessing me and giving me rare stuff. Yeah, we got a lot to showcase. Big Finish, Virgin Mission Adventures and Virgin New Adventures. So we will start with the Big Finish items. For the first two Big Finish items, I've got the second and third release from the 4th Doctor Adventures, The Labyrinth of Buddha Castle and The Paradox Planet by Jonathan Morris. Now if you see my collection video, I did not do a subscription to the 4th Doctor Adventures, sadly. So I am quite behind on them. I've only reviewed Wave of Destruction, and already the Gallery of Ghouls is out. I'm really far behind. But yeah, recently I picked up Labyrinth of Buddha Castle and The Paradox Planet. I have listened to Labyrinth of Buddha Castle, and The Paradox Planet I have not listened to yet. I will track down Legacy of Death first before I will listen to this one and listen to it as a 4-parter. As by reviews, from what it looks like, this is really a 4-part story, The Paradox Planet and the Legacy of Death, not really two interconnected stories. But it's nice to see this one getting cracking reviews with Legacy of Death. It looks like Jonathan Morris did a classic. So yeah, those were the first two Big Finishes, Labyrinth of Buddha Castle and The Paradox Planet. Next Big Finish item, this was my most wanted Big Finish item. I've been dying for it for so long. Yeah, Big Finish did a sale on the Jago and Lightfoot series, and I finally picked up Jago and Lightfoot series 5. When this came from the post, I immediately listened to it. Yeah, I did lay off the download, but when this arrived, I listened to it straight away. And of course, like all Jago and Lightfoot releases, it delivered. Yeah, a review of this will come out sometime in the future. As yes, I will be continuing my Jago and Lightfoot review in marathon. And yeah, just to do a little bit of a teaser, there will be some Jago and Lightfoot content in Big Finish month, but no more I will say about that. Next release is the 10th Doctor Adventures. You've probably already seen this before because I reviewed it not too long ago. Yeah, if you want to see my thoughts and opinions on this set, with a review on each of the stories, then check the description down below. There will be a link and a pop-up will come up on the video. But yeah, to say my brief thoughts on it, it was a very good set. I would give it an 8 out of 10. The stories were all good in my opinion. When you listen to Technophobia more, you do love it more. I've got to hand it to Matt Fitton. Yeah, Technophobia is without a doubt the best story in the set. That's not to say that Time Reaver and Death and the Queen are bad stories, no way. I would rate Time Reaver an 8, Death and the Queen an 8, and Technophobia a 9. And yeah, my limited edition number is 1413. I pre-ordered this so early. But yeah, that's not how the numbering system works. If you order it very late, you can get a very small number or a big number. It's really just random. So yeah, they were the Big Finishers. Now to the books, which seems to be a main thing with the Showcase series for this year. So first Doctor Who book I got yesterday. I just seen it in a charity shop and it was 50p. And I said, yeah, why not? And I don't have the book. And that is Doctor Who and the Coming of the Terrorphils by Michael Moorcock. And yeah, it's a new series book. That's quite a surprise to see in a showcase video, isn't it? But yeah, it was 50p, so I really couldn't say no to that. Yeah, it is a penny on Amazon, but it has the annoying postage and packing on top of £2.80. So really the lowest price for this would be £2.81. So yeah, 50p. Great price. Yeah, my knowledge on this book is a 0. I know nothing on this book. Not at all. I don't know if it's a good book, a hated book, really don't know. And yeah, when looking at the back, it does look like a pirate is saying it out loud. With some of the words like Dark Tides, Captain Cornelius. It sounds like something a pirate would say, but no, I'm not going to do that again. Maybe sometime down the line I will do it again. Yeah, it's quite a thick book, this one is. It features the 11th Doctor in it, because I know that much, because it says Series 5 DVDs available now, so I would say it has to be an 11th Doctor story. long book, 343 pages. I think that's almost the exact same as Sky Pirates, coincidentally. Actually, I think Sky Pirates might be a little less. But yeah, I can't really say anything else on the book because I know nothing about it. So next up, we're moving on to the main part of the showcase video, the Virgin books. So the first Virgin book isn't a Virgin New Adventure, nor is it a Virgin Missing Adventure. It's not even a Beneath Summerfield book. It is the first installment of the Decalogue series, consisting of 5 books. Now these books are just like the short trips which the BBC did for a small amount of time with 3 releases, and then Big Finish took them up and did a lot better with them, I would say. As with each of the books, they had a consistent story theme with them. Really, with the BBC books, they didn't really have any consistency. With the Decalogue ones, I'm not too sure, but it looks like reading the back, all the stories seem connected in some way as one big story. And again, the stories in this book is Playback, Fallen Angels, The Duke of Dominoes, The Straw That Broke the Camel's Back, Scarab of Death, The Book of Shadows, Fascination, The Golden Door, Prisoners of the Sun, and The Lackaday Express. They don't all feature the 7th Doctor, there's all different Doctors, like the 1st Doctor, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Yeah, this book intrigues me. 10 short stories, and they're all connected in some way to make one overarching story. And quite a nice simplistic design as well, I really do like it. And it is quite a thick book, it's 335 pages. So yeah, that's Decalogue, Book 1. So yeah, next up we're moving on to the Virgin Missing Adventures. Here we have 11 Virgin Missing Adventures. You know my challenge, I am attempting to collect all the Virgin books by this year. That is Virgin New Adventures, Virgin Missing Adventures, the Decalogue range, the Beneath Summerfield books, and the miscellaneous Virgin books as well. Got a fair few left, but I will say I will nail this challenge within 2016, just not sure where. And if I finish them off quite quickly, then the BBC books, being the PDAs and the EDAs, will be a challenge to get all of them within 2016. If I have time left. Because again, I'm not too sure when these Virgin books will be completed, as there is quite a ton of them. Anyway, back to the Virgin books. I'll showcase the Virgin New Adventures last, as that's the big main range. So yeah, starting off with the Virgin Missing Adventures. The first one is Venusian Lullaby by Paul Leonard. Paul Leonard does have a rather mixed reputation with his stories. It's just his structuring really, and his complex style. Even I suffer with it sometimes. And I do like Paul Leonard's writing, but he goes a little bit too complicated at moments. Yeah, I have read this book before, Genocide. There was just some moments which make zero sense to you until later on. That's something with Paul Leonard's books. If there's something you don't understand, you just have to keep on reading. You can't take long breaks with his books, or you have no hope in hell to understand it. You can't read small portions to it, you have to be invested in the book and read big chunks of it, or you just suffer. He doesn't do this book in the style of Genocide or Last Resort, and as well Toy Soldiers. Yeah, this one's a First Doctor book featuring only Ian and Barbara, as this one features after the Dalek invasion of Earth with the departure of Susan. I've heard this one is quite the character piece and not really strong with story. Yeah, we have to wait and see with this one. Quite a thick book for a Virgin Missing Adventure. So about over 300 pages. Yeah, just about, yes, over 300 pages. Looks like a good book. Next Virgin Missing Adventure is The Crystal Bucephalus by Craig Hinton. Now at the moment I am reading 2 Craig Hinton books, which is Synthespians, a BBC book, and the really big one, Times Champion, as of course I am going to be reviewing that book. Yeah, like Paul Leonard, Craig Hinton gets rather a mixed reception, as he just focused too much on continuity, which is rather making the story a little bit too dry, as he's not really putting his focus on the story but more the continuity. And I've heard this one's a little bit continuity heavy. And yeah, with this cover as well, as you know with all the Virgin Missing Adventures they paint them, but this is actually a real picture of Chameleon, they didn't actually paint it. As you can see, it's got different detailing than with Peter Davison, the 5th Doctor. Not sure why they did that. Maybe the cover painter said, stuff I can't be bothered to paint Chameleon, I'll just use a photo of him. Yeah, from the bio of the story, it doesn't sound too intriguing. It sounds a little bit bog standard, it does, but maybe it surprised me. I'll read it, of course, sometime in the future. Yeah, not one of the most intriguing Doctor Who books. Out of the ones I've got right now, it's definitely one I I don't see turning out to be a great one, but it may surprise me. Craig Hinton might have something up his sleeve with that book. Next, Virgin Missing Adventure. This one was voted on a poll during all the Virgin Missing Adventures came out. It was ranked the worst released book from the Virgin Missing Adventures range, and that is The Ghosts of N-Space by Barry Letts. Now this was an audio story, but Barry Letts decided to do a novelization of it. However, it seems like a lot of people say that the novelization was just an utter failure and has some very annoying elements in it, annoying characters, and it just was poorly executed, which is quite a surprise from Barry Letts. But yeah, again, the cover design of that really looks like the third Dr. John Pertwee and the Brigadier. Seriously, good job to the painter. It's quite a thin book as well, and I've heard this book is pretty cheesy as well. The back bio doesn't really intrigue me as well. Next one, this was one of my most wanted Virgin Missing Adventures, and luckily it's not a rare one to get. It's System Shock by Justin Richards. And yeah, this story actually has a sequel from the BBC PDAs, which is Mammalian Shock, which is again by Justin Richards, the same writer. It seriously draws me in because it looks like a cyberpunk story, technology, a technobabble story, and from the back bio, it sounds incredible with an MI5 agent assassinated, a dangerous CD disc containing something pretty dodgy, with this organisation called Offnet controlling everything from cars to sliding doors to traffic lights to equipment in people's homes. As well, it's got some nice illustrations showing the building of Offnet, like the ground floor, the first floor, and yeah, I like the clever chapter names as well. Yeah, that's System Shock. I really do want to read this one. Yeah, I would like to read this one over the week break we have. I've heard some really good stuff on this book. Some people say it's one of the best from the range, the Virgin Missing Adventures. So yeah, System Shock. The next Doctor Who book, I would say this book has one of the most strangest premises out of any Doctor Who book I've seen. Invasion of the Cat People by Gary Russell. Now putting this chronologically, this one would feature after Power of the Daleks. What I like that Gary Russell did is that the first few Second Doctor stories, the Second Doctor was quite clownish. Knowing Gary Russell, quite the continuity person himself, just like Craig Hinton, he will probably no doubt do references to Survival. Gary Russell will probably be doing something there. The plot actually seems pretty good. It reminds me of Frontier in Space with two factions going against each other, with the Doctor trying to stop these two sides from killing each other. So this one does sound quite good. Don't hear the best reviews on it though. I've seen some people defend it and praise it and say it's an underrated read. What I don't like though is the really long chapters. It's constructed the chapters as parts. Even though it's quite thin, it is constructed as a six-parter, this story. Oh dear, that gives me nightmares, as the secret novel adaptation from the price of it, $16.99, that'll be a six-parter. No, I highly doubt Invasion of the Cat People will be the adaptation. Just 4 more weeks and we'll find out what it is. So yeah, that's Invasion of the Cat People by Gary Russell. Next book is The Empire of Glass by Andy Lane. Now from looking at the cover, this will be a pseudo-historical, as we have this floating alien city with like future technology and buildings on top. Sounds quite exciting how this one would play out. It's got an interesting premise to it. And from this cover by here with Venice and this glass structure at top, it seems quite interesting. The back sounds pretty good. I believe Braxitale is in this. Yeah, Andy Lane has a lot of classics to his name. All Consuming Fire, Lucid Horizon, Original Sin. He has a lot of classics to his name, so maybe this one will be among them. Next book we have The English Way of Death by Gareth Roberts. This one was adapted by Big Finish last year. And Volume 1 I do find pretty overrated in my opinion. The Romance of Crime was alright, it did suffer in a lot of places in my opinion. And English Way of Death was pretty good, but ever since I listened to it for a second time I've never gone back to it. Doesn't seem that story has just grabbed my attention anymore. With the book, I think it'll be the exact same. Because people say that the English Way of Death adaptation was very faithful to the book. But that's the thing, I did quite enjoy the audio, but it wasn't magnificent, so I think the book would just have the same result. I will perhaps read the book in the future and see which one stands out better, the audio or the book. But I think they'll be about the same, really. That's The English Way of Death by Gareth Roberts. Next two books, I'm going to show these two together because they have the same reason of how I got them. Now when I was bidding these two books, I lost them because someone outbid me on these two books. But strangely enough, the person that won these two books never paid the seller. So I had a second chance with these two books, and the seller contacted me that I could get these books for the amount I bidded for them. And yeah, I agreed to it. So the two books are The Eye of the Giant and Twilight of the Gods. This is about 13 quid, this one's about 16 quid if I'm gonna have to add the postage and packing. And I paid £6 each for these two books, so that's quite a nice bargain. Yeah, I'll start with Eye of the Giant first. Has to be one of the most intriguing Doctor Who books. I must say, this one features After Inferno. The back sounds fantastic with an island mysteriously disappearing at a certain date and time, UFO sightings, supernatural occurrences, and another Earthbound story which introduces us to Captain Yates. Yeah, I think everyone on Amazon rates this 5 stars, which is lovely. And for the other one, which is another Christopher Buehless book, Twilight of the Gods, a second Doctor story which is a sequel to The Web Planet. Now, I do quite like The Web Planet. It's not a bad story. It's just extremely tatty. I hear people say that this book has potential, but it just never got there in the end. I hear people just say that. With Twilight of the Gods, so I have to really see with this one. So yeah, that's Eye of the Giant and Twilight of the Gods. Next Virgin Missing Adventure, this is the penultimate one, another third Doctor one. Speed of Flight by Paul Leonard. Now if Big Finish want to, it's absolutely doubtful, but if they wanted to, they could actually do this one. As you know, most of the brilliant people from the third Doctor era have passed away. But with this one, the main characters is the third Doctor, Joe Grant, and Captain Yates. So if they wanted to do it, they could, but it's doubtful. And it is a prequel to Time Lash. Of all Doctor Who stories, it had to be a prequel to Time Lash. So that'll be a little interesting how that plays out. I hope it will be better than Time Lash. Yeah, Time Lash, probably one of the worst classic episodes of all time. Probably have to be on drugs to like it. Hopefully in this story there isn't any blue androids with yellow hair. If that's the case, I'm throwing this book out the window. And for the last Virgin Missing Adventure, it is Burning Heart by Dave Stone. I like to call this one the Forgotten Virgin Missing Adventure, as I see no discussion on this book whatsoever. Dave Stone has to be one of the most controversial and mixed Doctor Who writers. Unfortunately, I've got a sticker here, but I don't want to take it off. It's one of those stickers that damages the cover when you rip it off, so I have to live with that, unfortunately. The back bio seems alright, but I just see no discussion on the book. It's like no one gives a crap about it. Poor old Burning Heart, no one loves it. So they were the Virgin Missing Adventures, and now to the Virgin New Adventures. Almost completed them. I only need 3 more Virgin New Adventures and I'm finished. Very exciting stuff, and it would be lovely to complete this range. So let's show the Virgin New Adventures I got. The first one is Time Room Revelation by Paul Cornell. So I have finally got Time Room Revelation. I've been looking for this book for quite some time, as when I wanted to find it, it just never appeared on eBay for a good price. Out of the books from Time Room, this one is the rarest one, about 16 quid. Nothing crazy, but I just didn't want to pay that much for this book because it would probably go for something like 4 quid on eBay. And yeah, it did go for 4 quid. I paid 4 quid for this. And this has to be one of my favourite covers, with the Doctor literally dancing with death. I've had quite a few requests to take a look at the Cat's Cradle trilogy, so yeah, that will happen, but I would like to read Time Room first, and since I've got the whole arc now, I'll be able to do that. I wouldn't really like to skip over it because apparently there are some things which interconnect. I'm not sure if that's true though. Yeah, the bio doesn't really reveal any story, plot or anything like that, so quite ambiguous. If I'm going to estimate how I'd rank Time Room series, it would go Apocalypse, Genesis, Exodus and Revelation. I would say this one may turn out the best. Next new adventure is by Gareth Roberts, and it's The Highest Science. Now, this one was adapted by Big Finish during December 2014. And I've actually never listened to the audio. Even though it does get some praise, there's just something telling me that I'm not going to like the highest science. From listening from the reviews of the audio and some people not liking the highest science, it doesn't seem like one of these stories I would particularly like Warhead or Warlock, something bleak. It doesn't have any bleakness to it. Hopefully that is wrong. Yeah, someone's just telling me that this book won't really be a good one to me. It does feature the Chelonians, which are pretty good monsters and quite known from the Virgin New Adventures. We have to see, but someone's telling me it's not going to be my cup of tea. Next book, probably a book I'm going to be avoiding for quite some time. It's going to be one of the later New Adventures I will read. That is Legacy by Gary Russell. Now, I heard this book is continuity overload. This makes Craig Hinton's Quantum Archangel to shame of how much continuity is in this book. Now, I don't hear the best stuff on Legacy. I don't really like any of the Peladon stories. Curse of Peladon, naff. Monster of Peladon, yeah, alright, pretty good. Prefer it to Curse, but still not great. So Legacy, or Legacy of Peladon as some people like to call it, apparently it's just a retelling of the Curse of Peladon. But yeah, there's quite some interesting moments, I will say, in this book. I'll say one of them, Bernice Summerfield has sex with an ice warrior. Yeah, that's old classic Benny for you. Next Doctor Who book, one of the most loved Virgin New Adventures. I see a lot of praise with this one. Well, actually, I've already really experienced it, to be honest, but not the book. All Consuming Fire by Andy Lane. Now, I have listened to the audio, and it was pretty damn good, I would say. It seems like the audio adaptation was very faithful to the book, with just some minor changes, which people may think, I wish that wasn't the case. But it still looks like it was a very faithful adaptation to the book. I see a lot of 10 out of 10s and 9 out of 10s for this story, not really anything else lower. I don't think I've seen a bad review for this book. And of course this is a crossover with Doctor Who and Sherlock Holmes. I've seen a few people say the book is better than the audio, as the audio has somewhat pacing problems. I'm not sure if I would agree with that or not, but I hear that the book doesn't really have that problem, which is a little bit surprising. Yeah, it would be lovely to read this one and compare it to the book, see which one's on top. And so it's got some nice illustrations in this one as well. Next, New Adventure. This one's written by Mark Gatiss, and he's only done 2 with the New Adventures, so of course it will be St. Anthony's Fire. Now, Mark Gatiss' book Nightshade is one of my favourites. It's a fantastic, creepy story with some brilliant elements and very thick atmosphere. And I do hope that St. Anthony Fire lives up with Nightshade. However, I don't think that would happen. I still hope it'll be a good story, but with reviews, a lot of people, almost everyone, says that St. Anthony's Fire does not touch Nightshade. I think that will definitely happen to me, but I still want to like this story because Mark Gatiss is a good writer, especially for the books. He really nails the books. And this probably is one of my favourite covers. It's got so much detailing on it, it's wonderful. So yeah, St. Anthony's Fire. Next Doctor Who book, I've already got this one, but it's the original of Human Nature by Paul Cornell. I've already read this book, as I have the reprint of it. Now, there has to be something wrong with you if you do not put this on a top 10 books listing or top 10 Virgin New Adventures or Virgin books. There has to be something wrong with you. This book will, of course, appear on a top 10 video if it's in the top 10 or as an honorable mention. It has to. It is a very deep character piece story, a really good one for Benny. Has some nice references going back to Sanctuary as well, which I quite like, and I'm very interested in that story. I wouldn't say I would agree on giving it a 10 though, because if you know me, I'm a little bit of a strict when it comes to rating something a 10, as there has to be nothing wrong with it and I have to agree if it gets a 10. Now, there isn't really much wrong with Human Nature, but I just wouldn't push it up to a 10. But maybe rereading it, that may happen, but I wouldn't put it with Lumbarrow, no way. So yeah, rereading of it, I say would be good. But yeah, when I do a top 10 Virgin books in the future, this one will probably end up getting on the top 10 or in the honorable mentions, because there's so much Virgin books. We'll just have to wait and see. So yeah, that's Human Nature the original. Now we're getting into more of the rarer Virgin New Adventures. These are the more later ones now. This one's about 24 quid, I think, on Amazon. Yeah, pretty pricey book. And I paid £4 for it, with post and packing on top. I can't remember how much post and packing. It might have been £2.60, I can't remember. And that has to be one of my favourite covers for a Doctor Who book. And that is The Also People by Ben Aranovich. I hope it is a lot better than Transit. Even though I do like the story, Transit, it just had a heck of a lot of problems with it. This one is a fan favourite. This one gets so much praise. But I actually don't really know a lot about the story. I really don't know anything about it. And in my opinion, I think this one's very possible to be adapted if it's the secret one, which will make people happy, or it will happen later down the line. Yeah, this is one of the few Virgin books which would excite people if it was the secret one, because it's that well praised. But it wouldn't be like Lumbar, which will blow up the Big Finish servers. Yeah, the back sounds pretty interesting. It's got some very weird character names, like their names consist of high and low cases. Yeah, I think the best thing is to go into this one cold, not know anything about it. So yeah, that's The Also People. Quite of a rare Doctor Who book, for absolutely no money at all, really. Next book, which is about 10 quid, plus the stupid posting and packing on top. I got it for 50p off Amazon, and that is Warchild by Andrew Cartmel. I really love the sound of the War trilogy, which consists of Warhead, Warlock and Warchild. Warhead and Warlock sound absolutely incredible, they do. This one, I would say this one sounds the weakest. I do like the sound of Andrew Cartmel's work. He's just such a bleak writer. Some say that his writing is far too bleak for Doctor Who. I would say I completely disagree with that. I love bleak writing. It's my bread and butter. If bleak is your cup of tea, Andrew Cartmel is your writer. But this is the thing. If it is bleak, it has to be nailed 100%. Or I would really diminish the rating of the book. So yeah, that's Warchild by Andrew Cartmel, 50p. Unfortunately, I'll show this now. This is very loose. It is actually comes right off. So that's a little unfortunate, that is. You can hear the glue trying to stick. So the cover sheet is very loose. But if I stick it down with force, it does come back into place. But if I was to read it, it would come off again. Next rare Virgin new adventure is written by Lance Parkin. And it's Just War. Probably one of the most intriguing Doctor Who books of all time, set in World War II. And it sounds a very dark story with the Nazis doing something apparently with a UFO, which is a weapon which will give them the advantage in the war. Top secret experiments and all that snazzy stuff. It sounds like Time Room Exodus, but a million times better. And yeah, this was adapted for the Bernice Summerfield range. And yeah, like the novel and the audio, Bernice gets tortured, very vile torture by Nazis. Sounds very realistic and very bleak, this story. I expect a 10 from this one. Hopefully it will be a 10. See a lot of praise for this story, don't see any negativity on it. And it was very well received when it came out. Next Virgin book, we've got 8 more Virgin new adventures left to go. So the next one is Shakedown by Terence Dix, which is a sequel to Lords of the Storm. Now I have read Lords of the Storm, so it might be quite fitting to read Shakedown at some time. Don't really know any reviews on it. I've seen a few. Some people do praise it quite a bit, and then others I've seen rated somewhere around a 3 or 4 out of 10. Yeah, like Lords of the Storm, rather forgotten book. But I say this one isn't really forgotten, but rather mixed. Yeah, if you know, Shakedown was a BBV production, it was, and then later down the line novelised as a book. And yeah, there's quite a few elements which leads into Shakedown, but if you want to read Shakedown, you don't actually need Lords of the Storm. But it will make it better for you, I would say, even though I haven't read Shakedown. So I've got 7 more Virgin New Adventures left to showcase. The Virgin books I need is Death and Diplomacy, Happy Endings, God Engine, Christmas on a Rational Planet, Return of the Living Dad, Death of Art, Damaged Goods, Survival Sin, Eternity Weeps, and The Dying Days. So the next Doctor Who book, a very rare Doctor Who book, is God Engine by Craig Hinton. So yes, I can confirm to you I don't have Death and Diplomacy or Happy Endings. Those books I'm still on the hunt for. There was some happy endings which appeared on eBay, but I went off them because I've seen happy endings go for lower money. So I said, nah, I'm not doing that. And for Death and Diplomacy, I had kind of an annoying story. Apparently when I was bidding on it, I won it. But then when I checked on it and looked at the biddings, it says I was outbid. When it said when I was bidding on it with the time running out, I won it. So I'm not sure what happened there. It looks like someone's bid got out in a millisecond remaining. So that quite sucks, that does. So yeah, I don't have Death and Diplomacy or happy endings. But yeah, I have God Engine. But yeah, God Engine, got this one from eBay for $12.99. Apparently it's got some nice continuity to the Pyramids of Mars and the Osirans. And also a cameo appearance of the Daleks. I think they're actually connected to the plot somewhat. But yeah, it's mainly featuring the Ice Warriors it is. Ice Warriors have quite a few stories and references to the Virgin New Adventures. It gets pretty good reviews off Goodreads, it does, but everywhere else, rather mediocre. Apparently the story's quite run-aroundy, running around pyramids and tunnels and that, with quite a Egyptian feel to it, and also on Mars as well. I have to wait and see with that one. Again, Craig Hinton's work, very divided. Next Doctor Who book, this one I see as a prequel to a massive arc called The Faction Paradox. And this book does foreshadow the events. It's Christmas on a Rational Planet by Lawrence Miles. Now this one foreshadows the Grandfather Paradox, something quite big in the Faction Paradox series in the EDAs, or in other words, the most convoluted and messed up arc in Doctor Who history. Well, I don't know that because I haven't read any. Yeah, I'm not reading the EDAs until 2017. I don't want to focus on such a big arc when I'm enjoying the Virgin New Adventures. Yeah, Christmas on a Rational Planet, don't know too much about it story-wise, but I would say it's worth getting if you want some foreshadowing to like alien bodies and the Faction Paradox. I'd say pick it up for that, because it's got some stuff on the Grandfather Paradox. And another Doctor Who book which I will name nameless. Next Virgin book, I found this one in a charity shop in my local area, which was pretty nice, and that's Return of the Living Dad. 50p. I know that crappy posting and packing. Now this one apparently is a very heavy story for Beneath Summerfield. I love Beneath Summerfield, so that'll be good. However, this one's quite a light-hearted story, which isn't really Virgin's territory. Looks like film is going to cut out in a minute, so it may have a random jump cut in it. Yeah, this book's by Kate Orman, who is a very praised Doctor Who writer. Left-Handed Hummingbird, Sleepy, Seeing Eye, Vampire Science see a lot of praise. This one, however, has got a lot of good reviews on Amazon, or wherever I check really, so hope that isn't the case. But again, it seems quite a fun Doctor Who story. 4 more Virgin New Adventures left to go. Next one is The Death of Art. Quite a nice cover. Don't know too much about it. I know it's connected to a very loose arc. But that's about it really. I've heard this book is a little bit complicated, a bit hard to follow. I actually have not read the bio of this book, so I might as well do it now. It looks like these monsters here are shapeshifters. So I think this might be a very good character story. Which character to trust, which character not to trust. A very creepy cover with this monster and this child and some vampire creature killed by, I presume, this monster here. Looks pretty intriguing, Death of Art. Next Doctor Who book, which is the penultimate for Roz, and that is Damaged Goods. Now I have experienced Damaged Goods before, which is the adaptation. Now the audio is seriously toned down, because this is one of the most violent and disgusting Doctor Who books of all time. What makes it so jarring to read is because its disgusting parts are so realistic, it can just make you sick. Yeah, some Doctor Who books don't really know how to handle that well, so it turns out really unrealistic. But here, it's so graphic, it's so realistic, it may be very jarring for people to read this book. Like, one of the characters in this is so sadistic and so messed up, it's crazy. And yeah, the audio was pretty good, I enjoyed it. For the book, I haven't experienced the full thing, but I do know what the content is inside. And it is probably one of the most disgusting Virgin New Adventures out of the whole range. Yeah, this is a pretty pricey book, so happy to have Damaged Goods. 2 more New Adventures now. Actually, I'll pick this one, leave the rarest one to last. Next one is Eternity Weeps by Jim Mortimore. A very hit and miss writer, this person, and the book as well, very hit and miss. Again, like Damaged Goods, one of the most disgusting Virgin New Adventures out of the entire range. But I have heard it's quite a strong story for Bernice and Jason. Yeah, from what I've gathered from the back bio, it's this huge disease killing millions of people on planet Earth. Not too sure where they are, really. Might be Mars. Why is the sun here? The cover doesn't really make much sense. Is this supposed to be the sun? Or just some sort of light effect? I don't really know, the cover doesn't make a lot of sense. A great bargain, as this is 15 quid on Amazon and I paid £1.50. So yeah, definitely a great find. Not sure if it would turn out a good one though. And to the final Virgin New Adventure. It's not Death and Diplomacy and it's not Happy Endings. So which one is it? Soval's Sin? Or The Dying Days? Or is it both? Am I really being a sneaky asshole? Fans of the Showcase series, I present to you The Dying Days by Lance Parkin. It looks like I was building your hopes. I don't have Soval's Sin, and that's the honest truth. I put my money to something else. So yes, I need 3 more Virgin New Adventures. Death and Diplomacy, Happy Endings, and Soval's Sin. But I managed to track down The Dying Days. Did I get into a bid war? No, I didn't. Not at all. Yeah, that was very nice. Yeah, The Dying Days has some good rarity to it, as it's the final Virgin New Adventure and of course featuring the 8th Doctor. So this book quickly got purchased, but Virgin, they lost their license, so they couldn't print more. It's got quite a known reputation, and a lot of people do like this book, although there's a fair few who would talk against it. I don't really understand its praise. Things I've heard about it, it doesn't sound particularly good, if I'm honest. If a reviewer says something's good, that doesn't mean it's going to turn out good for you. If a reviewer says something's bad, it's going to turn out bad for you. That's not how the world works. You just have to experience it for yourself. If someone rates it a 10, I'm not expecting it to be a 10. But if I was to estimate a rating, I'm just going to go right through the middle for a 5 out of 10. Not expecting it to be bad, not expecting it to be good. That's the best thing you can do when something's quite diversified. It'd be a pretty interesting Doctor Who review. Nice in-depth review of the positives and the negatives with it. And look at both the sides of why the book will be hated and why it'll be loved. But yeah, I don't have plans to review this one anytime soon though. It'll be some time, as when I'm finished with the Virgin New Adventures, I'm swapping to the BBC books to do 10 BBC book reviews. I know it does suck when something so rare turns out so bad, but if it does, I wouldn't really bother, as I was highly anticipating Lumbar. If that one turned out bad, that would just be the worst thing in the world. Same with Times Champion. But with Dying Days, I just wouldn't really care, as it's rather diversified. It doesn't really sound the most interesting Doctor Who book in the world. Nothing that really excites me like Lumbarrow. The only thing I can say is wait and see. So yes, we've had a fantastic showcase video, haven't we? Loads of Big Finish, the 10th Doctor Adventures, Jago and Life at Series 5, a ton of Virgin books, a ton of rare books. But I've got one more Doctor Who book to showcase. It's quite a big parcel, as you can see. So, what is it? As I always like to do, is bring up a little bit of suspense. Guess what Doctor Who book is in this parcel? It won't be a BBC book. It won't be a Virgin New Adventure. Is it a Target book? The Wheel in Space hardback? The history of the Target books? Is it a Big Finish short trip book? Even rarer. Is this close to the rarity of Times Champion? Yes, it is. And for the final question, the final hint, is it rarer than Times Champion? Yes, it is. Just to confirm to you, Times Champion is not the rarest Doctor Who book. There are other Doctor Who books rarer than Times Champion. And the one I have got here, when I seen this on eBay, I froze. I just stopped breathing. I could not believe this appeared on eBay as a buy now, and a very good buy now. I have never seen this on eBay before, and yeah, I will say for the second time, it is rarer than Times Champion. Both of them appear on eBay hardly ever, This is the difference between both the books. This one goes for more money. So yeah, this book only beats Times Champion because of its value. So of course, let's open this parcel. Yeah, I've got it open now. Gently take this out. It will blow people away what this Doctor Who book is. So yes, it's stage 2 of opening this Doctor Who book. Now, I really do not want to touch this book with my own hands because I do not want it further damaged, so I may get gloves for this. I'm probably seriously hyping this up if I'm wearing gloves to not further damage it. So yeah, I am really hyping this up. I'm hyping this up like I found a bloody missing episode. Let's have a little quick look inside. Well, that's interesting. It's actually even more further protected. I will be taking the book out of here, and when I do, God, I'm gonna blow people away. You thought Times Champion was big. This is even bigger. I think I've made that perfectly clear. So let's slowly take this out. Any other guesses what this Doctor Who book will be? Rarer than Times Champion? Yeah, I've hyped this more than enough now. So then, this extremely rare and valuable Doctor Who book added to my collection. It is the rarest Doctor Who item in my collection, and I will treasure this. Fans of my channel, I present to you the first edition by Frederick Muller of Doctor Who and the Crusaders by David Whittaker. Jesus Christ, my heart is going crazy at the moment. I seriously... Bloody hell. I can't even talk. I can't talk. I seriously cannot believe I have got this. This book is over 50 years old, and I seriously can't believe I'm saying this, but I've got the original first edition, the first printing back in 1965 of Doctor Who and the Crusaders. It is literally ridiculous I've got this. Really, I've never felt like this ever before. Probably because the value of the book is just insane and absolutely incredible. I've lost for words. I've literally lost for words. I should just close the curtains a bit. Too much light is coming out. So yeah, there you go, Doctor Who and the Crusaders. Yeah, very happy the seller really did protect it well, and I've got this as well to protect it even further. I'm thinking of putting this in some sort of display plastic case, as I really do not want this damaged. Yeah, I think I can take the gloves off. Don't think I really need them. But yeah, I'm going to quickly showcase this Doctor Who item. So yes, for the front cover we have the Doctor Who logo in blue, the first Doctor logo. Then Doctor Who and the Crusaders by David Whittaker with the TARDIS based on the successful BBC television serial. And we have a night by here with flags at the top. And a nice yellow colour by there as well. The dust jacket is a little bit tatty, but that makes a lot of sense considering the book is over 50 years old. So the dust jacket is in an acceptable condition. I read the seller's post of it, and he said, yeah, the dust jacket is not in the best condition, but I really do not care about that. Yeah, I am really okay with it, to be honest. It's just a bit of a rip by there which came off the dust jacket. And at the back, it has a bio on two of the other Frederick Muller books, the original ones, such as Doctor Who in an Exciting Adventure with Daleks, and then Doctor Who and the Zarbi. Both of these as well are really rare. This one went through quite a few prints, I do believe, about 4 prints, but the original, the first printing of it, is extremely rare, and it is rarer than Times Champion. Yeah, it's about 4 printings of them. The first one is near impossible, just like this book, And then we have Doctor Who and the Zarbi. There is a Doctor Who and the Zarbi on eBay for a buy now one, but it doesn't have the dust jacket. I said, nah, I don't want that, then the rarity's not going to be that high. If this didn't come with a dust jacket, I probably wouldn't get it. And that's all I'm going to showcase. I'm not going to take the dust jacket off. I'm not going to open the book. I don't want to do that. If I want to read Doctor Who and the Crusaders, I'll just pick up the Target book of it. So yes, to end the showcase series number 45, I have got the first edition, the original of Doctor Who and the Crusaders. This has definitely been one of the best showcases of all time for me. I really enjoyed recording this. The amount of rare books I've got, including this absolutely lovely gem as well. You can see I have a great hobby in collecting rare Doctor Who merchandise, items and books. Yeah, I really do have a hobby. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the showcase video. So thank you very much for watching the showcase series installment number 45. We've had a fantastic showcase. It's definitely been one of my favourites. Big finish, we've had two Fourth Doctor adventures, the Labyrinth of Buddha Castle and the Paradox Planet. I will be reviewing them shortly soon. With Jago and Lightfoot Series 5, I will be continuing my Jago and Lightfoot reviewing marathon sometime in the future. And yes, for the Doctor Who books, I did get one Doctor Who New Adventures book, surprisingly, but I found it in a charity shop for 50p, so I said, why not? Got a nice stack of Virgin Missing Adventures, and then for Virgin New Adventures, got a huge stack here. Only need 3 more Virgin New Adventures, which is Definite Diplomacy, Happy Endings, and Soval Sin. But yeah, I showcased a great number of rare new adventures: the Also People, Warchild, Just War, God Engine, Christmas on the Rational Planet, Damaged Goods, Eternity Weeps, and the big one, The Dying Days by Lance Parkin. And then to end it all off, I managed to get the first edition by Frederick Muller of the Crusaders. It would be nice if I could track down the first edition of An Exciting Adventure with the Daleks, and as well Doctor in the Zarbi. So yeah, thanks for watching, and for a further note, I do have a behind the scenes video for Showcase 45 on TJ Extras of me tracking down these books and other rare items. So if you want to see that for extra content, check the link in the description down below. It will take you to TJ Extras or this bonus video. So thank you very much for watching the Showcase series, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good one.